Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and today I want to briefly invite you to put on your tinfoil hat, go to the kitchen, grab some foil, stick it on your head because we're going to go down a bit of a strange path. Understand that I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm simply going to point at things and say, what do you think of that? Then if you think anything of it, you can go and do your own research. Like, I'm not here to try to show you anything. I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. I'm just here to give you my opinion on something which, quite frankly, has been bothering me of late. We have continuously seen Elon Musk be talked about on Twitter. Elon has been painted as this picture, this savior, this guy that's going to fix Twitter and get rid of the bots, and it's all fine. But I just wanted to point at a few things and get you to think about this. Okay, here was his Halloween costume. This is Baphomet, the chief of demons. Maybe it's just a Halloween costume. Maybe there's nothing more to it. Maybe this is just for show. You can make up your own mind on that. One thing we do know for sure is this guy is obsessed with the letter X, okay? He has X.com, which was changed to PayPal after a merge in around 2000, I think. Elon then repurchases the X.com domain in 2015. He, of course, owns a company called SpaceX. He has a car model called the Tesla Model X. His child is named X-Ash. That's how it's pronounced, and it's written like this, X-Ash, A12 Musk. And he has another child called Dark, whatever that says, Musk. Okay, so there are various other examples of his fascination with the letter X. You can go and do your own research. One thing I know for sure is if you are well versed in this word here, which means the hidden world, the hidden practices, okay, I don't think I'm allowed to say this, but this word here, if you're well versed in this, if you understand this, then all of this stuff becomes quite intuitive to you. Once you understand this stuff and you understand how it works and the symbolism they use, you can never unsee it. Okay, I happen to be quite well versed in this, so let's keep going. We know he's got this fascination with the letter X. X here, like I said, if you know where to look, is an ancient symbol for change or transformation, long associated with medieval and Renaissance art, with the coming of the Messiah who shall make all things new. Okay, and this is a quote from Jim Tresner, who's a 33rd degree Mason. Okay, stick with me if you're starting to think I've lost my mind, because I'm going to come off this topic very shortly. Something else the letter X symbolizes, again, if you know where to look, is it's the sign of Osiris, which is a great Egyptian sun god. So I'm going to quickly burn through a few things here for you. Here is the Osiris, the sun god. Notice the X in the arms. And as you're doing this, you probably will think of Tutankhamun. Again, you see this X here as well. Let's keep going, because this is all through Hollywood. There are nods to this. You can keep looking. Even some of your favorite celebrities. I'm not a celebrity person myself. Okay, you'll find modified versions like this with the 3 6s thrown up. You'll also find this, which is a nod to the horn god Baphomet, the chief of demons, that we saw at the start on Elon Musk's Halloween costume. Here is another nod to one of these things. Okay, and here is the depiction of Baphomet, which, as I said, is on Elon's Halloween costume. Maybe it's nothing, okay? Also, here he is stood with his mum. If you don't know about his mum, go and check that out, okay? That is a rabbit hole in and of itself, far beyond the remit of this channel. One last thing I'd like to point out, okay? Again, these people mock you in plain sight. They do this right to your face because you're ignorant. You do not understand what they are doing. They have a term for people that are not in the know. It's the vile, the vulgar, and the uninformed, okay? They mock you to your face, and they say that if you are too ignorant to notice it, then you deserve everything you get. So, X. Put the letter X in a gematria calculator. Something else, which, by the way, you can go and research in your own time, and something else the elites are obsessed with, will spit out a reduction of 6. Why is this significant? Because X equals 6. We also see this riddled throughout culture in movies. Okay, we see it in music, and of course, triple X in the adult industry. 3 6s, there it is, all day long. I've said enough on all of this. That's too much, frankly. You can go and research this if you're interested. But the point I'm trying to make here is, whilst everyone is looking at this man as a savior, somebody who champions free speech, freedom, understand you could not have it more wrong. He is talking about having bought Twitter, creating the Everything app, turning Twitter and using Twitter to accelerate the Everything app. What exactly is an Everything app? The concept of an Everything app, often referred to as a super app, is massively popular in Asia and tech companies across. Okay, Asia, red flag right away. Nobody wants to live like they live, do they? Especially not pertaining to their technology and their app control. The Everything app has been described as a Swiss Army knife, offering a suite of services such as messaging, social network, peer-to-peer payments, and e-commerce. Well, that actually sounds quite convenient, doesn't it? But they always paint it in a light that makes it sound like it's nice. Meanwhile, they operate in plain sight, like I've shown you before, clearly pushing a different agenda. These mega apps are widely used in Asia as the main form of access to the internet for many people. Okay, and at the same time, the Chinese have their own version of this called WeChat, and it is ubiquitous to daily life in China. They can hail a taxi, they can send money, speak to family or friends, but of course, all of this is monitored by the Chinese government. It's all connected to a social credit score system and a digital ID and a central bank digital currency. If you send a message to one of your friends and they don't like it, they will fine you, they will knock your social credit score down. You won't be able to go shopping, buy food, access transport. Okay, this is a very bad thing, and this is what this man is pushing. This is what this guy is, and people are championing this guy like, oh, he's going to fix bots. He's going to charge us $8 a month to get rid of the bots and to make Twitter free speech again, and we're not going to get banned for speaking your mind. No, 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 no. That's the guys. Okay, that's the smoke and mirrors whilst they usher in a Chinese social credit score system with digital IDs, track and trace, CBDCs. This is not good. This guy is championing this mark of the beast system. That is enough of that. Take the tinfoil hat off, throw it away. If you have any more questions on this, just go and do your own research. You'll find it. It's there. One last thing I wanted to point out before we get deep into the finance, okay? CZ has been selling $500 million of FTX token. They say they won't support people that lobby against other industrial players behind their back. What has Sam been up to? We of course know Sam has deep ties to the WEF, but ultimately, in amongst all this drama, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, okay? But their research company that they're in partnership with leaks a balance sheet report making them look weak. The report draws in people to short their token, the exchange token, and then they get gig along and a single tweet rinses every single one of those shorts. Thank you for playing. This is how the game is played. You can get involved in this drama all you like, and Twitter is melting down over it. But at the end of the day, this is how the game works. Binance and FTX are both making money from fees while people are trying to trade the drama. Let's get back to business. Let's take the tinfoil hat off. Let's put the Bitcoin hat on, because Bitcoin is back above its realized price, the average cost base, just like in 2012, 2015, and April of 2019. You can see that here, it's the black line at the bottom, and we are now back across it. This is the first step before we can start to get above the light blue line and then the dark blue line, okay? This bull run is coming. Remember, these are unprecedented times, because normally stocks rally to all-time highs at the onset of a hiking cycle, a rate hiking cycle. Thus far, this is completely different this time around. At the onset of a rate hiking cycle, the stock market has been in a drawdown phase. It has been in a bear market. Bitcoin doesn't care though, and neither does its adoption. The fintech firm in Argentina is going to launch Bitcoin trading for 4.5 million users. So we continue to see adoption on a global scale. Speaking of adoption on a global scale, I can't believe this is real either, but it is. Walmart is selling Antminer S19s. Okay, you can now buy your Bitcoin mining ASIC rigs from Walmart. This is a huge, huge step. Also, the charts continue to just look better and better. Look at this. This is showing us that most probably we have massive, massive, massive downside for Bitcoin. But remember, this is the inverted chart. So downside equals higher price in this case. This chart has been flipped on its head. We have broken down and are now likely to be targeting down here, which of course are higher numbers for Bitcoin. And for people that are saying Bitcoin is still not capitulated, you're wrong. Flat out wrong. Look at this. This is indeed capitulation, just like we had back here and back here. The pump to 30k is going to be epic. You can see here, doesn't this look very, very similar to this? Okay, and we all know what happened after this. At the same time, the short-term holder realized price just crossed below the realized price. The orange lines show where this happened in each cycle. So this would be the orange vertical line before a bull run, an orange vertical line before a big parabolic rise. And here we are today, orange vertical line ready for a big parabolic rise. Here's the bottom in 2018 at the top, and here it is today. We've likely found that cycle low. We're likely going to work our way out of here and then get going, as I've been saying over and over and over again. Remember, the bulls have disappeared, okay? The bull survey has not been this low in 2 decades. As you can see by this green line, where are the bulls? It's been over 20 years since there was this many bears, since the market was this one-sided. Small traders cannot stop loading up on puts. Again, you can see that here by the green line. The put buying is never ending. Furthermore, the put call premium is getting out of hand. Look at this. Way, way, way beyond the great financial crisis of 2008, 2009. Retail is flocking into puts like never before. And remember how many times retail is on the right side of the market? Almost never. Almost never. Is this the first time? I doubt it. The S&P 500 put volume rose from 1.34 million on November 1st to 1.96 million on Friday. On October 13th, the put volume went over 2 million, and subsequently we pushed from $3,660 to $3,900 in the following weeks. Typically, when the put volume on the S&P peaks over 2 million, we will see a push to the upside, even in periods of quantitative tightening. And this is exactly right. The market always punishes overcrowded trades. Retail investors are all in on put options, and it's time for a short squeeze to over 4,000. Right out of this cycle low, I'll get to that in just 1 second. My expectations for equities this week is that we're going to go higher. The CPI is out on Thursday. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But is it likely that we're going to see a lower print, which will clearly tell the market inflation has topped? The data I've been showing over the past week certainly points to that. Here's the dollar. Is this just a retest? Do we bounce up from here and continue to chop around for a bit? Or are we about to break down? If we are, that means risk is going to come on incredibly strongly. The chart of truth, again, waddling up. Are we doing something like this, or are we about to make a new high? That remains to be seen. Probably likely depends a lot to do with the inflation print, the CPI print on Thursday. Crypto is starting to look very constructive. I think we can call this the cycle low. I did say the trigger for the long is here. We're sat right around break even at the moment. I think we can get long and strong here. And that is what I've done with Bitcoin. Same is true of Ethereum. This worked really well last time, so looking for some strength off of this. Continue to push XRP. MATIC continues to lead, as you can see here. And I have a starter position in Zcash in the longer term accounts. So moving on, gold is doing weird things. Okay, I'm still not entirely sure if we can call this the daily cycle low of day 16, which would be early, and then this would be a day 10 high. I'm not sure if we can call it that way around, or whether this cycle low needs to be here, which is a much more reasonable 24-day low, and then perhaps we are only on day 2 of the up cycle at the moment. One thing I do know though is this is why we manage the trade. So if I grab this here, okay, you can see that we, despite getting this stop, we managed this trade. We've still walked away with some profit, so that is fine. This position is currently out. I don't know what's going on here. I did see from Peter Brand that we have, this is his own pattern by the way, the chair with Ottoman, you can see here. So a break above 1679 spot 4 would be a long according to this classical charting pattern. And that would be, if you notice, right above this red line that I've had drawn for a while. So I think it's time to flip long if that's what the market is telling us, okay? I don't have any control over what the market does. All I can do is let the market tell me how to react. As of right now, we are working on a breakout, retest, resumption of this blue resistance line. Do we need to be stricter and draw it up here? That remains to be seen. Either way, we're currently out. I think the red horizontal line will end up giving a lot more credit and weight to this, but we still have to be open to the fact that it's possible we're going to roll over one more time into the weekly cycle low towards the end of the year. It's too early to tell at the moment. If we can get above the highs set from Friday's session, then I think this becomes a long. I think the long has to be respected since we have broken out of major market structure, and the trade will look something like this. However, if I grab the bars pattern and this turns into one of these looks, it starts to roll over like this, okay? If this is the case, then back below this and we'll have to get short again and target that cycle low down here. So that remains to be seen for now. Need to give it a little bit more space, a little bit more time. A lot of it, of course, will be dependent on what the dollar does, but that is that. Oil, I think it's doing what I thought it was going to do. So it might take it slightly longer to get up here, but I think it is going to waddle its way up to 100 and then short, and then the short becomes in play, targeting much lower numbers. So we'll see how this goes. Once we get above 95, I start to get interested in looking for the shorts, okay? And perhaps it will come on a trend line break, something like this. Perhaps it won't. That remains to be seen, but I am keeping a keen eye on this. Tesla and Apple were still in longer term accounts. I don't have a hard stop in my longer term account. So both of these positions are still on, even though if this was in my trade, this would have been swept. This was more of an illustration purpose. I'm keeping a very close eye. Any lower than here, I guess. Yeah, in this neighborhood. Any lower than that, and I cannot tolerate that, I will have to exit that position. But as it stands at the moment, I still have this position, and I still have Tesla. Tesla hasn't touched the bottom of the range. So more volatility likely incoming, but we'll see how we can get out of here. I've started to nibble, as I told you I would. I've started to dollar cost average into a position on this, since we apparently have a swing low in play. I can get rid of this. We'll see how this opens. I only have a very small starter position, and it looks like that. So if we can get some follow through here, then I think I will start to build the rest of these positions up. The same is true of MicroStrategy. That position looks much more like this. So that's what we got for MicroStrategy. Again, I'll continue to update, but these are starter positions. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. Clean that up, get out of the way. Right, I don't have yet, but I am looking to. I just want to see a little bit more follow through from this, and the same is true of Marathon. If we can get a green candle today, then I'll be in on those as well. So I'll make sure I update you on that as and when I make the changes. But I've started to I've started to build these positions up now in the longer term accounts because we have the swings in place. I'm keeping a close eye on the VIX. I still think this is going to continue to come down a bit more first, but a trend line break of this red line, and I want to long this and be strong about it. The Dow Jones, look, it held this trend line. Do you remember I made a video and I said, you know, everyone's freaking out, everyone's panicking, but we're still kind of holding on, and we are technically still above this. So it remains to be seen how we react. We can afford to lose this trend line and sort of produce more of like one of these shapes before we go. That becomes a long on the breakout of the red line. That remains to be seen at this moment in time. The Nasdaq, is this completing a strange variation on a breakout retest resumption of this blue line? Is that what's happening? We need to see some follow through today, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. If we can get a good green candle, a good big strong green candle, then I think that's longable for sure. Something like this. So we'll see how that goes. The S&P 500, look, perfect touch of that yellow circle that I drew. This certainly looks like a swing. I think we can move this up here and call that a day, what would this be? A day 42 low. So that's absolutely perfect. A little bit more follow through today, and I think this can be the long, so it's going to look something like this. It's important to point out we lose this swing and all bets are off. Things are going to start to look bad, so got to keep an eye on that. Like I said earlier, I'm keeping a very close eye on Tesla and Apple because I can't even put a hard stop in my longer term account, so I have to keep a very close eye on that, and I will be keeping a very close eye on gold, as I said, because if we're going to break out of here, then there could well be 20 odd days of bull run left in this. So, and again, if we're above this blue line, we're above the red one, this is a breakout, and we must respect that, even though the weekly cycles tell us to be open to a rollover. And similarly, if we roll over from here, then we've got to re-enter our short and come down here. So profit is booked, although not a great deal of profit on that trade. If you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on the video. Let me know what you think about the whole Elon thing. Do you trust him? Do you not trust him? Are you okay with seeing this in the sort of content I produce, or would you rather I kept it strictly Bitcoin and finance? Let me know if you've got a problem with it. In the meantime, if you made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate all the support. CPI in focus on Thursday. Let's keep an eye out and see if we can make some money. In the meantime, all the best. Take care. Cheers. Bye.